Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Philosophy. I'm your host, Eric Bell, and I want to thank everyone for their patience in dealing with these technical difficulties. Blog Talk was having issues and was still saying that the former post from the last show, Sound Doctrine Ministries, was still going on. But anyway, I have a very exciting show, and coming up on the line is first guest, Delilah de Cleyre, and she is a returning guest for now, and she's been very active in promoting nonviolent communications, which is mainly what I'll be talking about tonight. And she's been involved in quite a few, like the Michigan Peace and Liberty Coalition and the Free Detroit Project, and she recently did a workshop over at PorkFest. So go and welcome her. Hi, Delilah.
Hey, how are you, Eric?
You're very wonderful, very wonderful. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, no worries. It happens.
Because I want to start off by saying that, I guess that's another reason why I definitely regret not going to PorkFest this year. It's been, I mean, how was that? Was it like the best time of your life? As I see on Facebook, people are telling me every few posts.
Yeah, and this was my second trek to PorkFest. I had been there, I think, for PorkFest X or PorkFest 10, so a couple years ago. And it's definitely a unique experience. You're surrounded by fellow liberty lovers who really want to live out their philosophy during the week with one another. And it's just really great to be surrounded by people who share the same values and are curious and want to discuss ideas and figure out how we can change the world together. So I had a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of friends I don't see very often. And then, of course, I got to give a presentation on nonviolent communication through the Alt Expo, and I was just totally floored by the receptivity and the curiosity and just the conversations that I had from all that. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely do my damnedest not that make sure that's the last one that I will miss. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and start off by just going through a quick, overview of what exactly is nonviolent communications, which I like to kind of refer to it as conscious communications.
Yeah.
Description of that.
Yeah, conscious communication, nonviolent communication, compassionate communication, connected communication. Those are all different ways of essentially describing the same thing. And for me, nonviolent communication is it's a process or a strategy that we can use to create the amount of connection that we want to experience both with ourselves and with other people. But it's not just a process, it's ultimately a consciousness or a lens to look through, a way to experience the world. Just a way of being in relationship with yourself and others. So. Yeah.
And this is, I guess, a lot of people, and this is one thing I should mention, this is not necessarily like a magic formula, so to speak, how to have a desired outcome for many ways. I mean, so I think that might get people discouraged from that. So that's the first thing that this can learn. For starters, they should probably understand that, getting people to kind of, see things your way, or get them to do things what you want them to do, it kind of does defeat the purpose to begin with, for one thing. But
yeah, I'm so happy that you mentioned that, because that's a big issue. A lot of people are attracted to the idea of nonviolent communication because they have some particular relationship issue or some political philosophy they want everyone to agree with them on, and or a variety of different things that people come to it by. But ultimately seeing it as a strategy to get other people to do something different. And that's not what it is at all. That's not coming from the consciousness. And it's really about understanding that everything that anybody does is for one reason. It's the same reason, no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, no matter where you live, what culture you're in. It's a very human thing, and that is just to try to get your needs met. And our various strategies might conflict, but our needs never do. And so, a big part of NVC is intention. And if your intention is, I want other people to adopt my strategy, you're not going to get the connection that NVC is designed to facilitate. So, yeah.
Yeah. Very well, very well. It's very well. And one of my favorite parts about NVC, I guess we can say is probably most important, is not just, the fact of as important as you enter and dealing with other people, though it's the big focus of it is also very important in the sense of just how you deal with yourself in many ways. Like in terms of, like for starters, in that it emphasizes that about a lot of emphasis that that you, for one, you own you are in responsibility for your own emotions and for your own feelings, so that no one can make you feel angry or sad or happy, whatever. And that's going to be very, very, very emotionally manipulative in that concept. And in this concept, and also whenever we are depressed or just feel discouraged or whatever, and the first thing we start labeling ourselves as we do with other people. Well, but as in, well, I'm a failure. I'm worthless. This or that. It's just really gives you that tool to just make that conscious decision, just an analysis of what your needs are, and what's your problems. Yes.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing, like you pointed to two different things. From what I've heard is one, like the denial of responsibility. That is really disconnecting. That's not taking responsibility for our own feelings and for our strategies to get our needs met, or for blaming, like either blaming ourselves, diagnosing ourselves, deciding that something's wrong with us, or that something's wrong with other people and it's their fault. And then we become the victim, which both of those kind of ways of looking at it are really disempowering, right? And then we become like dependent or codependent with other people when if you recognize that your feelings come from your own needs and nowhere else, it doesn't matter what anybody does. Nobody can make you feel anything, and you can't make anybody feel anything else. But that your feelings are a result of your values being stimulated or not stimulated. That now you have so much more choice in how you are in the world. You have, and what I call that is like a liberation of sorts, like emotional liberation, right? Because we can become kind of a slave to our relationships with other people if we're always thinking that they're in control of how we feel or how we don't feel, or we put that in a source outside of ourselves. So.
Yeah, and it's just, I guess how has that really impacted your activism? Should say.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I should probably ask what came first for your? I guess did you become a libertarian first, or did you and then discover nonviolent communication, or did you find, or is it the other way around?
Yeah. Well, actually, I came to anarchism through my parenting. Believe it or not, I had a baby, and I wanted to, be the best parent that I possibly could. So I got into attachment parenting, and then homeschooling, and then as a result of that, unschooling and peaceful parenting. And then I started to figure out kind of the economics of the world and how that was really messed up and didn't make a lot of sense. And then I realized that these were related. It was kind of the same principle or same thread through my parenting choices and through adult systems, too, like that I want everybody to be free, and things tend to work out better that way when there's no coercion involved. And then after I became an anarchist, I learned about NVC, and I totally saw how this connected it all, and this was really a way of living out my values. in a way that wasn't antagonistic or rebellious. I wasn't submitting or giving in to anything, but also I wasn't rebelling or going against anything anymore. I'm now able to, get in touch with myself and just live in that place of empathic liberation, like I mentioned, be able to really understand myself. And I think I see a lot in libertarians and other movements, I guess, that we notice these problems in social systems, and we really want to change them, right? And we get like super inspired to go out and dismantle the government in whatever ways, whether it be Bitcoin or whatever. When I've noticed in the anarchist community that we tend to recreate the same types of systems and dynamics that we're wanting to undo. And I see this in the infighting. You'll see like anarcho-communists and anarcho-capitalists, and they're like really against each other, right? When
right.
Or you see it in just the whole us versus them kind of dynamic that pops up, where I see it as these social systems are a manifestation of what's going on in each individual's mind. And if we can strike the root there, if each person can get really self-connected and understand themselves and who they are and what their needs and feelings are, that these sorts of systems that we're really not enjoying the way they're working out now will kind of dismantle themselves, because they will no longer be tolerable to people who are connected to themselves and what's alive in them. So I guess that's really changed my perspective that way. Yeah.
Yeah, like we can, it's very, it's for we first have our awakening though, and we first start off. We start going after, or that's our kind of goal. Stopping, these very big systems like the Federal Reserve, or
exactly.
try to end this war or whatever. Though, but then of course, we do. And what I noticed just for me though, of course, we really just ignore just our own problems and just really how we can end the cycle of violence and also, and I think, and just me, I think it's very easy to be, for me, I noticed that, I've, over the years, since I've called myself libertarian and voluntarist or whatever, how easily detached from just all the other relationships I have. For all those, just to notice that I, just have get more out of all my, my Facebook friends that I've never ever met, or libertarians, volunteers, whoever, than the people that I kind of grew up with and had and got from and went to high school or whatever, and so I think from that we can maybe, I don't know if it's just that, and maybe of course I don't want to just say that. I'm sure I'm not the only one though, but I can see how this is very easy to get disconnected from just civil society though, as we're just focusing on the problems and trying to save and change the world and save the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does, because so often when we're in that perspective, when we see these systems that aren't working, like the Federal Reserve, for instance, or just voting in general, when we see that this doesn't work, we tend to think like, oh, this is bad and wrong, and it should be different, right? And so we're going to go and change this somehow from that energy of this being a bad, evil, wrong thing, kind of using moralistic judgment to look at it. But then if I kind of shift my perspective just a little bit, and this seems really simple, but it totally transforms my experience of, being a voluntarist in the world as it is today. When I look at it as from the place of like, what is the ultimate world that I can envision? Like, what would that be like? And I think about how people would interact with one another, and then I start to feel inspired and really motivated from a place of inspiration to kind of manifest that in my own life, and regardless of what's going on in the systems around me. I have way more fun with it, from that place.
Yeah. So yeah, we can say that because I think in that if we were to share that vision, is just as you said, I think it would be very attractive for many people, and I don't and it would not be as it would not be very and not be and not and not people would be very alienated as just as if we were just I guess just instead of just calling people statist or sheeple or whatever.
Exactly. And, how many people want to have a conversation about how stupid they are? I mean,
no,
I don't really want to have that conversation, but that's so often what I see libertarians doing is having that conversation with people, and people shut down, that cognitive dissonance that they want to defend their character and say, I am a good person, I do care about people, or whatever it is, and you don't get anywhere.
Yeah. Instead it can be just so easy to say, well, just to say, and it's so easy to say, well, I would like a world where we do things peacefully, without, aggression, without coercion. We meet our needs, and we just our wants and desires, and we can live in peace. So it's so easy to say that.